Hello and welcome back. Now in this module, I'm going to talk to you about the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, the CAF, which enables your organization to accelerate its cloud transformation journey through AWS recommended capabilities and prescriptive guidance. These set of key prescriptive guidance and best practices are fundamental to you being able to adopt the cloud in order to become a more agile business and highly competitive in today's marketplace. Also, if you are taking the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, then this topic is of paramount importance. There are several questions on the exam that are going to test you just on your knowledge of the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework alone. So this one is a must study in your preparation for the exam. Let's dive deep into the AWS CAF. Now, companies of all shapes and sizes must be highly competitive in today's market, from the new startups right through to large multinational businesses. With increased customer expectations and access to a global marketplace, businesses must ensure that they are agile and can deliver new and innovative products and services. These products and services must be cost-effective and fulfill various ecological and social expectations for the modern consumer base. Businesses therefore have no choice but to embark on a digital cloud transformation journey that will enable them to fulfill the requirements of the customers and governments, as well as win over the competition. Digital cloud transformations are processes and methodologies that involve leveraging emerging technologies to facilitate organizational change, enabling businesses to adjust to evolving market conditions, satisfy customers, and expedite business results. Employing digital transformation processes and methodologies empowers them to enhance business outcomes, cut costs, mitigate business risks, boost operational efficiency, enhance agility, accelerate innovation, establish new revenue streams, and elevate customer and employee experience. Now, to help you leverage the cloud to transform your business digitally, AWS offers the Cloud Adoption Framework, or the CAF, that comprises of a set of foundational organizational capabilities. The AWS CAF identifies these capabilities and provides prescriptive guidance organizations can use to accelerate their cloud transformation journeys. To understand the application of these prescriptive guidance, you need to appreciate what's called the transformation value chain. Now, there are 4 transformation domains that represent this value chain, so let's take a look at these next. We have the technological transformation, which refers to the migration and modernization of legacy infrastructure, applications, data, and analytics platforms. We have process transformation. This focuses on digitizing, automating, and optimizing your business operations. This may include adopting and using new data and analytics platforms, subscribing to cutting-edge processes, gaining actionable insights, and improving customer service experience. It also includes things like ensuring employee productivity, decision-making, business forecasting, security, and much more. Next, we have organizational transformation. Now, this is where you reimagine your operating model. Define how business and technology teams collaborate and orchestrate together to create customer value and meet business goals. This includes adopting agile methodologies to develop frequent change and iteration, facilitating evolution of your products and services so that you become more customer-centric and responsive. Finally, we have product transformation. Now, that's where you reimagine your business model to create new products and services and new revenue models. This will enable you to stay current with customer demands and expectations and reach new markets and grow your business. Ultimately, this value chain represents how technological transformation enables process transformation, which enables organizational transformation, that enables product transformation. To develop your transformation value chain, AWS CAF offers a set of foundational capabilities which are best practice guidelines to help you leverage the cloud to transform your business digitally. These capabilities are grouped into 6 perspectives. These are business, people, governance, platform, security, and operations. Each perspective comprises a set of capabilities that functionally related stakeholders will own and manage in your cloud transformation journey. It is critical to understand these 6 perspectives and how they enable and support your cloud adoption journey. Now, for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, you will encounter questions that will test your knowledge on these perspectives. And so as an exam tip, you really want to study these perspectives in detail. Next, we're going to deep dive into the 6 CAF perspectives and their underpinning capabilities. So let's start with the business perspective, which focuses on how you can use management and strategic decisions to ensure that your cloud investments accelerate your digital transformation and achieve business goals. And if we take a look at the business perspective, there are actually 8 different capabilities that you can incorporate in order to help you with your digital transformation. We'll start off with the first capability, which is all about strategy management. And this refers to the use of the cloud to support your long-term business goals. The retirement of technical debt, such as old legacy systems that do not meet customer expectations and have a higher cost of maintenance, seeking out cloud-enabled value propositions and creating new revenue streams. Next, we have portfolio management, and this is where you would design your offering by prioritizing cloud products in line with your business strategy and balancing your portfolio for both long-term and short-term outcomes, incorporating migrations and modernization whilst considering finance and non-financial benefits. And examples of financial benefits refer to things like lowering cost, increasing revenue. Non-financial benefits are things like improving customer and employee experience. When considering migrations, you want to really think about the 7 R's of migration strategy as recommended by AWS. Next, we have innovation management. And innovation management is all about adopting cloud services to improve existing processes, products, and experiences. With the cloud, you can easily indulge in experimentation efforts and not worry about costs and risks associated with those research and development projects, as it is easy to provision and shut down resources and you only pay for what you consume. This means that you can incorporate frequent and incremental innovation initiatives, creating and enhancing your offerings to fulfill customer demand and expectations. Through innovation management, you can develop an end-to-end process for scaling successful innovation pilots. We then have product management. Now, product management is where you need to ensure that your data and cloud-enabled products are designed to offer repeatable value throughout their lifecycle. This means developing functional teams who champion customer needs, enabling you to identify product expectations and plan your product roadmaps and journeys and their associated value streams. You can use the cloud to iterate your product features and evolution rapidly. And so improvements and feature enhancements of your product portfolio needs to be just as agile as your overall business and organizational culture. Next, we have strategic partnership. Now, businesses delivering cloud-hosted products, consultancy, or managed services can benefit from partnering with the cloud provider. Benefits include things like developing expertise, access to resources, and collaborative engagements. You gain market share and increase revenue potential by strategically partnering with vendors and suppliers. Often throughout my career, I've worked as a consultant for Microsoft and AWS products and services, and I've found that many of my clients have partnered with the vendor, as this allows them greater access to resources, services, and even support from the vendor. And as a partner, if you're fulfilling your vendor requirements as part of that partnership strategy, you get to benefit from additional premium services from the vendor. Next, we have data monetization, and this is where you want to formulate data monetization strategies by identifying opportunities to leverage data and analytics to improve operations and customer and employee experience. You need to consider leveraging customer behavior insights to drive personalization and localization elements in your products and service offering, microsegmentation, subscriber retentions, and thinking about things like loyalty and rewards programs to keep and retain your customers. We also have business insights. Now, this is where you would use real-time and near real-time insights to develop your data monetization strategies by enabling you to track business performance, improve decision-making, and optimize operations. You can use both technical, such as statistical, and non-technical, such as visualization cloud tools to discover these trends, patterns, and infer valuable strategic conclusions to achieve your business goals. Finally, we have data science. Now, data science is all about using experimentation, analytics, machine learning to solve complex problems. And you can develop predictive and prescriptive analytics to define your data monetization strategy. Using CI/CD, continuous improvement and continuous delivery or deployment, to improve resilience and reproducibility of your machine learning workflows. Now, it's important to understand how your models make predictions and identify any potential biases, and then deploy suitable models to production and monitor their performance. And where necessary, mitigate risk by delegating low confidence productions for human review. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the business perspective, which discusses these key 8 capabilities. We'll move on to the people perspective. Now, the people perspective focuses on developing a culture of continuous growth, learning, organizational change, and leadership to accelerate your cloud adoption journey. And if you take a look at the people perspective, you'll see that it comprises of 7 separate capabilities. And the first one is cultural evolution, which focuses on evolving and evangelizing transformational aspirations, rapid experimentation, and agile methodologies across your organizational culture. It's designed to help you develop and invest in your workforce and to ensure that the workforce is invested in continuous improvement and is customer obsessed. Next, we have transformational leadership. Now, this is where you want to develop a strong leadership team that brings change across technology and people. Leadership should gain visible sponsorship across technology and business functions and ensure a clear alignment with common goals. You should consider evolving your cloud leadership function through a Cloud Center of Excellence team or department to evangelize and drive your transformational efforts with codified patterns for consistency and scalability. Incrementally involve this function to meet your current needs as you progress through your transformational journey. Next, we have Cloud Fluency, which focuses on developing, hiring, retaining, and empowering a knowledgeable and proficient workforce. You want to develop targeted training strategies that champion data literacy and develop advanced data analytics skills. You must incorporate different training methods and validate skills with formal certifications. These include virtual, classroom, experiential, and just-in-time training, and can also leverage immersion days or what we call game days to ensure that you build on that practical skills element. You want to incorporate mentoring, coaching, shadowing, and job rotation programs to keep the entire workforce engaged and be a part of the complete end-to-end journey. You want to set up communities of practice that own specific domains of interest, which further encourages the concept of responsibility and ownership. Next, we have workforce transformation, where you want to focus on building a diverse and inclusive workforce with appropriate technical and non-technical skills. You want to identify skill gaps in your organization and modernize roles to attract, develop, and retain high-performing and adaptable workforce to improve your cloud capability. You should also consider using partners and managed service providers to temporarily or permanently augment your workforce. In the past, I've worked for managed service providers where we would have staff that took care of all of the level 2, level 3 supports, as well as project engineering and consultancy. And often we would actually outsource level 1 support to a third-party partner. Next, we have change acceleration. Now, cloud transformation results in widespread changes, and businesses must apply structured, integrated, and transparent programmatic end-to-end change processes to achieve high success rates. This involves identifying what change looks like and how it will affect the organization, and help design roadmaps to address risk, leverage strengths, and identify training capabilities to increase acceptance into the new ways of working. One that will make changes stick with continuous feedback mechanisms, rewards, and recognition programs. We then have organizational design, which is all about access and evolution of your organization to align with the new ways of working to accelerate transformation adoption. You want to determine if your organization's design supports your business outcomes, and if necessary, design new models that evolve and facilitate a cloud operating model. Finally, we have organization alignment. This is where you want to ensure organizational design is aligned to handle rapid adaptations to market conditions, enabling it to capitalize on any new opportunities. You want to focus on resiliency, agility, product and service innovation, ensure leadership commitment to change acceleration framework. You must take a top-down approach to develop shared business outcomes and break down functional silos collectively. You want to tie innovation efforts to customer experiences, and you want to recognize and reward those who continuously adopt and innovate. And so this brings us to the end of the people perspective and the 7 different capabilities that you must incorporate in order to successfully complete your digital cloud transformation. Now, the governance perspective focuses on orchestrating your cloud initiatives while maximizing organizational benefits and minimizing transformation-related risk. And if we take a look at the governance perspective, you will see that it comprises of 7 capabilities. The first one being program and project management, which basically is the execution of interrelated cloud initiatives with flexibility and seamless coordination. Careful coordination is crucial in complex cross-functional cloud transformation endeavors, particularly within organizations that adhere to more traditional structures. Now, a program basically constitutes a sizable undertaking comprised of numerous interconnected smaller projects. So smaller related projects make up a program. Projects are coordinated into a program with tasks and projects distributed among team members. Key activities in effectively launching a program may involve defining objectives, strategizing execution, overseeing operations, and providing status reports. The consolidation of projects into a program occurs when the advantages of managing them collectively surpasses the benefits of treating them as separate entities. In contrast, projects are generally more compact and frequently entail limitations such as cost, deadlines, and resource availability. And project objectives typically have a short-term focus, whereas the program objectives align with broader company missions or overarching goals. Next, we have benefits management. Now, this is where you want to ensure that the ongoing realization of your business benefits are linked to your cloud investments. The ultimate success of your transformation depends on attainment of these business benefits, and clearly defining the intended benefits from the onset enables prioritization of cloud investments and facilitates ongoing tracking of your transformation progress. It involves identifying metrics, quantifying the desired benefits, and communicating these aspects to pertinent stakeholders. Next, we have risk management. Now, risk management is all about leveraging cloud to lower your risk profile. You want to consider the benefits of things like pay-as-you-go models versus perpetual cost. The ease with which you can create multiple isolated environments in the cloud further reduces risks. You can recognize and quantify operational risk associated with infrastructure, availability, reliability, performance, and security. And additionally, you can assess business risks related to reputation, business continuity, and responsiveness to evolving market conditions. You want to gain insights into how the cloud can mitigate your risk profile and consistently identify and address risks within your agile workflow. Next, we have cloud financial management. Now, this is where you want to plan, measure, and optimize your cloud spend. You want to ensure financial accountability for your teams through an agile process, which encourages innovative designs and the use of best pricing models. You should adopt the AWS well-architected recommendations for cost optimization and use tools like the Trusted Advisor to identify these recommendations. You want to align your cloud structure and tagging strategy with how your organization and products map to the cloud. You want to structure your accounts and cost allocation tags to map your cloud resources to specific teams, projects, and business initiatives and gain a granular view on your consumption patterns. You should prevent the accumulation of technical debt by guaranteeing that your workloads are well architected and operating cost effectively. You want to ensure that you utilize dynamic provisioning based on demand and time to pay for resources only when necessary. You should also trim down on cloud expenses by identifying and eliminating costs tied to idle and underutilized resources. We then have application portfolio management. Now, this is where you want to ensure that your application portfolio is aligned to your overall business strategy. You must regularly review your application inventory, identify opportunities for rationalization, migration, and modernization. Construct a comprehensive overview of each application by gathering data from interconnected enterprise systems, enterprise architectures, ITSM tools, project and portfolio management, and more. Identify essential technology and business stakeholders, including application owners, and encourage them to enhance and validate the application metadata regularly. Next, we have data governance. Now, data governance is all about exercising authority and control over your data to meet stakeholder expectations. You want to consider moving away from traditional centralized data lake to the more modern data mesh architecture, where data is organized into autonomous, self-serving data products owned by specific domain teams. You want to develop data lifecycle policies and implement continuous compliance monitoring, prioritizing quality of data at all levels. And then finally, we have data curation, which is where you collect, organize, access, and enrich metadata and use it to organize an inventory of data products in a data catalog. This will facilitate data monetization and self-service analytics by helping data consumers quickly locate relevant data products as well as understand their context. Consider augmenting with manual tagging as necessary and appropriately to handle any personally identifiable information or PII. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the governance perspective, a critical part of your overall cloud transformation journey. Incorporating these capabilities will help you ensure that you fulfill any governance requirements, and as well as any regulatory and compliance requirements along the way. Next, let's take a look at the platform perspective, which focuses on accelerating the delivery of your cloud workloads via an enterprise-grade, scalable, and hybrid cloud environment. And if we take a look at the platform perspective, you will see that there are in fact 7 capabilities to help you achieve this. The first one being platform architecture. Now, platform architecture is all about defining a well-architected cloud environment that can help you accelerate the implementation of cloud adoption while reducing risk. You want to define best practice guidelines and guardrails that ensure authentication, security, and monitoring, and you want to consider what workloads you may need to retain on premises due to latency, data processing, or data residency laws. You should also evaluate hybrid cloud use cases and options, such as cloud bursting, backup and disaster recovery in the cloud, distributed data processing, and edge computing. Next, we have data architecture. Now, data architecture is all about the design of data and analytics architecture to reduce complexity, cost, and technical debt while ensuring actionable insights from growing data volumes. You want to be able to design layered and modular approach to ensure iterative and incremental evolution, and highly recommended is adopting serverless technologies for ease of management. We then have platform engineering. Now, platform engineering focuses a lot on best practices to ensure enhanced security by using multi-account strategies, using organizational policies as guardrails. You want to be able to codify your best practices to ensure governance and deploy tools that help automate account provisioning and management. You want to consider identity federation for ease of management and leverage infrastructure as code to define configurations declaratively. We also have data engineering. Now, data engineering looks at the design and implementation of pipelines that improve productivity and accelerate time to market. You should implement security controls and monitoring to identify pipeline failures, build reusable blueprints that allow analytics and scientists to operate using self-service methods. Next, we have provision and orchestration. Now, this is all about building and distributing a centrally managed portal for approved cloud products that comply with organizational policies. By enabling self-service using APIs and IAC, infrastructure as code, to streamline provisioning and orchestration of resources in a scalable and repeatable manner, you can ease the process and the burden of provisioning and orchestration in your organization. Next, let's look at modern application development. Now, this focuses on building cloud-native applications using containers or serverless technologies to build microservices and event-driven architectures. You want to be able to update your current applications for cost reduction, increased efficiencies, optimal utilization of current resources. Explore things like replatforming, involving the migration of containers, databases, or message brokers to manage cloud services. Remember, managed services eases the burden of managing underlying infrastructure. Additionally, consider things like refactoring, which entails rewriting legacy applications to align with cloud-native architecture. It is crucial to design your architecture with awareness of service quotas and physical resources that prevent any adverse effects on workload performance or reliability. Finally, we have CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous delivery. You want to be able to adopt DevOps practices for continuous integration and continuous deployment. You should innovate faster using smaller changes and become more agile. Include staging and production steps in your continuous delivery pipeline and consider manual approvals for production deployments. You can also consider multiple deployment strategies, including in-place, rolling, immutable, or blue-green deployments. These are all technologies and best practices that we have discussed over the well-architected framework as well, so feel free to reference that too. And so this brings us to the end of the platform perspective. Next, let's move on to the security perspective. Okay, so the security perspective is all about focusing on ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and the availability of your data and cloud workloads. And if you take a look at the security perspective, you'll see that in fact it comprises of 9 separate capabilities across which you will be able to design and ensure highly secure workloads and highly secure environments for your business. So we'll start off by taking a look at security governance, which is all about defining clear lines of accountability to ensure a solid security program and effectively communicate security roles, responsibilities, and procedures. You want to fulfill industry-specific compliance requirements. You should understand the shared security model or the shared responsibility model and how it affects your organization and team's responsibilities. You must perform annual assessments for your organization, and all of that encompasses your security governance capability. Next, we have security assurance. Now, this is where you continuously monitor, evaluate, and improve your security and privacy programs to build customer confidence and meet regulatory requirements. Remember, once you lose customer confidence, regaining that image back is really, really difficult. Document and demonstrate security and privacy controls, understand vendor controls by reviewing audit reports and compliance documents, and ensure alignment with your organizational requirements. On Amazon Web Services, you have access to the AWS Artifact and the compliance programs that gives you access to all of these different audit and security reports. Next, we have identity and access management. Now, this is where you need to focus on authentication and authorization to ensure the principle of least privilege access is applied. Consider identity federation using central identity store and leverage user groups, fine-grained access controls, and temporary credentials where necessary. Don't forget to implement multi-factor authentication and conditional access. Set permission boundaries and use service control policies so that right entities can access the right resource as your environment and user base grow. Consider things like granting access based on attributes, so that your policies can scale, and continuously validate that your policies provide the protection you need. Next, we have threat detection. Now, threat detection is all about using the right tools to detect misconfigurations, threats, and unexpected behaviors, allowing you to respond to threats faster and learn from security events. You want to correlate monitoring data from multiple sources, including network traffic, operating systems, applications, databases, and endpoint devices to provide a robust security posture and enhance visibility. Then we have vulnerability management. This is where you identify, classify, remediate, and mitigate security vulnerabilities by using vulnerability scanners, endpoint agents to associate systems with known vulnerabilities. You want to prioritize remediation action based on vulnerability risk. You also want to leverage red teaming and penetration testing to identify vulnerabilities in your system's architecture. Cloud providers like Amazon Web Services allow you to perform penetration testing against your own workloads. So check that out as part of your overall vulnerability management. Then we have infrastructure protection. This is where you protect your infrastructure from unintended and unauthorized access and potential vulnerabilities. You should build a layered network architecture and place workloads that don't require internet access in private subnets. Consider using firewalls and security groups, leverage VPC endpoints, filter traffic to protect across all layers, the network layer for DDoS protection, the application layer with WAF tools or web application firewall tools. Then we have data protection. Okay, so this is where you maintain visibility on how your data is hosted, stored, and accessed. You should perform data classification processes and exercises to identify the type of protection required and the regulatory requirements that you need to fulfill. Encrypt your data at rest and in transit, and use lifecycle management policies to manage your data. We then have application security. This is where you detect and resolve vulnerabilities during the software development process. Scan and patch for vulnerabilities in your code and dependencies to help you protect against new threats. Minimize the need for human intervention by automating security-related tasks across your development and operation processes and tools, and use static code analysis to identify common security issues. And last but not least is the incident response. This is where you want to respond quickly and efficiently to security incidents. You should develop runbooks and create a library of incident response mechanisms. Simulate security events and practice your incident response through tabletop exercises and game days. Iterate on your outcomes of your simulation to improve and scale your response posture, reduce time to value, and further reduce risk. This brings us to the end of the security perspective of the AWS CAF foundations. Next, let's move on to the final perspective, which is the operations perspective. Now, the operation perspective focuses on automating and optimizing operations that will allow you to effectively scale while improving the reliability of your workloads. And if we take a look at the operation perspective, it comprises of 9 separate capabilities. The first one being observability, which is all about focusing on gaining actionable insights from your infrastructure and application data using synthetic monitoring to monitor your endpoints, resources, and APIs. You want to centralize data in a single dashboard to get a unified view of critical information about your workloads and performance. Next, we have event management, which is all about identifying priority events and help prevent impending issues and ensure appropriate alerts are recorded and responded to. You want to consider analyzing events to develop ML solutions to automate correlation, anomaly detection, and automate responses to reduce errors. We've got incident and problem management, where responding quickly to services-related incidents will minimize impact. You want to adopt a distributed model to streamline interactions between teams and define clear escalation procedures. Practice incident response with game days and use lessons learned to enhance your response and resolution. Then there is change and release management. Now for this, you want to consider adopting CI/CD techniques to manage releases and rollbacks. You want to establish a change process and ensure appropriate testing is followed before releasing change into production. You want to automate rollback processes to last known good state. We've got performance and capacity management, which relates to monitoring workload to ensure capacity meets current and future demands. You want to monitor service quotas and capacity reservations as well. Remember, your cloud providers will have several quotas in place to ensure that, things don't go out of hand and a malware doesn't end up spinning up lots of resources unnecessarily. So watch out for those when you're designing your overall architecture. Ensure that your stakeholders are fully aware of these quotas and capacity reservations, and with them agree on common goals and objectives. You want to analyze demand and ensure capacity matches fluctuating operating conditions. We've got configuration management, which is all about using infrastructure as code to configure and provision your resources, which will avoid configuration drift. Enforce mandatory tagging for compliance and define appropriate lifecycle management and version control. Then we have patch management. Now, patch management is all about ensuring the on-timely installation of patches and updates after appropriate testing. Make sure you define maintenance windows and ensure security updates are rolled out quickly. Consider having different windows for resources in different availability zones to maintain that high availability component of your services. We've got availability and continuity management, which is where you can define an appropriate business continuity plan and a disaster recovery plan. You should consider your RPO, your recovery point objectives, and your RTO, your recovery time objective levels, and ensure that it fits with the organization requirements. Use strategies like multi-AZ and multi-regional architectures to reduce recovery time and build failovers in your workload architecture. Finally, we've got application management. Now, this is where you use a single management tool for all of your application availability and health management tasks. Integrate with tools like configuration management databases, CMDBs, to easily discover application components, remediate operation issues faster by automating runbooks. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the operation perspective. Over the last 6 videos, we've looked at the 6 key perspectives that can help you in your cloud digital transformation journey. You want to be able to use all of these different perspectives and their individual capabilities to help you in achieving your digital transformation journey. Now, in order to bring all of this together, we need to also take a look at one more component of the overview of the Cloud Adoption Framework, and that is to discuss the cloud transformation journey phases, which we'll discuss next. We started off by looking at the 4 transformation domains, namely technology, process, organization, and product, and went on to explain how the 6 AWS Foundation perspectives and their individual capabilities provide prescriptive guidelines to enable businesses of all shapes and sizes to fast-track their cloud adoption journey. We'll complete the picture by discussing the cloud transformation journey phases, which brings together all of the components to enable businesses to successfully complete their digital transformation. Let's examine these transformation journey phases next. Regardless of whether you're looking to move a single application to the cloud, build a hybrid cloud environment, or go completely cloud native, these individual phases will act as key milestones to help you complete your transformation journey. There are 4 phases to consider. The first one is the envision phase. This is where you identify and prioritize transformation opportunities across each of the 4 transformation domains in line with your strategic business objectives. You must ensure key stakeholder buy-ins and demonstrate measurable outcomes as you progress through your journey. This will enable you to embark on your journey if the organization is fully invested in a common goal. Next, we have the align phase. Now, once you've decided and envisioned your end goal, you must review and identify capability gaps across the 6 AWS Cloud Adoption Framework perspectives and address any cross-organizational dependencies or stakeholder concerns. You want to create strategies to align with the perspectives and carry out any necessary change management activities to implement them. Next, we have the launch phase. Now, this is where it gets all really exciting. This is where you deliver pilot initiatives and progress to production when successful. You want to keep reviewing lessons learned from your pilot programs before scaling to full production. Next, we'll have the scale phase. This is where you will expand production and business value to the desired scale and ensure that your cloud initiatives are sustainable. Okay, so now that we've covered the transformation domains, the foundation capabilities, and the journey phases, it's time to bring all of this together to explain how we use the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. So you remember the transformation domains. We spoke about the value chain, which represents how technological transformation enables process transformation, which enables organization transformation, that enables product transformation. Next, we identified the foundation capabilities and the capability gaps across 6 perspectives as recommended by the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Remember this one? We had the business perspective, the people perspective, governance perspective, platform, security, and finally operations. Together, we're able to then achieve our business outcomes, giving us reduced business risk, improved ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance benefits, revenue growth, and increased operational efficiency. All of this needs to take place every time we embark on our cloud transformation journey phases, starting with envision, to alignment, through to launch, and finally scale. And that repeats all over again every time we embark on our cloud transformation journey. And that's it, a thorough overview of the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework. Now, I know this has been quite an intense module, and those of you trying to prepare for the AWS Cloud Practitioner exam may be wondering just what sort of questions are we actually going to get with regards to this module. And so to help you with your exam, I'm going to take a look at some sample exam questions next. I'm going to walk you through 3 possible exam style questions that will hopefully give you an idea about what it is you need to learn in order to prepare for the Cloud Practitioner exam when you're studying this particular module as part of the syllabus. Let's do that next. Now, we've covered an extensive amount of content that you need to learn in order to prepare for the AWS Cloud Practitioner exam, the CFL-C02. I thought I'd share some examples of the sort of questions that you might see in the exam, because I'm well aware of the fact that you need to grasp the Cloud Adoption Framework in its intricate detail across the 6 perspectives and their capabilities in order to be successful at those questions. So let's take a look at some sample questions that you just might see something similar to in the exam. So we'll start off with sample question number 1. So the question is, which perspective in the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, AWS CAF, includes capabilities for implementing DevOps architectures using a continuous integration and continuous deployment CI/CD strategy? And your answer options are security, platform, operations, or governance. So questions similar to this might appear in the exam. And so ultimately what the question is trying to get you to answer is, which of the 6 perspectives talks about DevOps architectures and specifically around the concepts related to CI/CD strategy? And if you've gone through the 6 perspective very diligently, you will in fact know that it's the platform perspective. And the platform perspective does in fact cover CI/CD concepts and focuses on getting you to pay attention to building your application architectures and solutions in a manner that incorporates the agility that comes with CI/CD pipelines. The ability to make rapid, minor changes, regular releases of different features to your application architecture can be incorporated in a CI/CD pipeline, and that all falls within the platform perspective of the Cloud Adoption Framework. So the correct answer is B, platform. Sample question number 2. Which of the following options is a capability discussed as part of the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, the AWS CAF, business perspective? The options are portfolio management, risk management, identity and access management, and incident and problem management. Now, before we actually look at what the answer could be, I want to highlight the fact that we've got 4 options, and each of those 4 options ends in management. And AWS are a bit notorious of the fact that, using words and a combination of words, they might try to throw you off the scent, right? So you want to be really careful and know exactly what the content or what the subject matter is in order to be able to answer these questions. Also, you've got business perspective, and so immediately you should be able to at least eradicate or get rid of some of those answer options like risk management. Risk management would really fall under a security perspective as an example. And the same goes for identity and access management. That's another security perspective capability. And if you did go through the 6 perspectives very carefully, you would know in fact that the answer is portfolio management. And that is just shown over there in the screenshot of the business perspective. And it's 7 different capabilities. So yes, the answer here is A, portfolio management. Let's take a look at one more question. Sample question number 3. A company plans to migrate to the AWS Cloud and would like to follow the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, the AWS CAF, to ensure that only authorized personnel have access to sensitive resources and data as part of its cloud transformation journey. Which AWS CAF security perspective capability will meet these requirements? So this question is slightly different. In this question, we're being told that we're examining the AWS security perspective. And specifically, we're looking for a capability within the perspective that would meet the above requirement. The above requirement being that we want to ensure that only authorized personnel have access to sensitive resources and data in the cloud. So let's take a look at the answer options. You've got threat detection, infrastructure protection, identity and access management, and incident response. Okay, so let's take a look at threat detection. Threat detection is all about using the right tools to detect misconfigurations, unexpected behaviors, and to be able to respond faster and learn from security events. It doesn't really talk about authorized personnel being given access to sensitive resources or data. Answer option B is all about infrastructure protection. Now that's really about protecting your core infrastructure that you deploy in the cloud, including things like creating layered network architectures, placing workloads that don't need internet access in a more secure private area of your cloud environment, using firewalls, endpoints, etc. We also have incident response. Now, incident response obviously is all about responding quickly to events and incidents that take place within the organization, and ideally building runbooks that would automatically respond to certain incidents if it was possible to automate those runbooks. The answer that I'm leading on to, which is the correct answer here, is identity and access management. And if you take a look at the security perspective, you will see that identity and access management is in fact one of the capabilities. Now, identity and access management is all about focusing on authentication and authorization to ensure that the principle of least privilege access is applied. And so you want to ensure that only authorized personnel have access to sensitive resources. You want to apply the principle of least privilege to those personnel. You do so using the identity and access management capability or a set of tools that help you define identity and access management access. And so the answer is C, identity and access management. Okay, and so that's how you would go about answering question number 3. Right, so that brings us to the end of this video where we try to demonstrate some sort of typical exam questions that you might see in the Cloud Practitioner exam. I hope this was useful, and I am absolutely grateful for you sticking on till the end. So that brings us to the end of the AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, the AWS CAF module. In the next module, we're going to move on to the AWS Well-Architected Framework. I'll see you folks then. Thank you.